I applied to leave Doctors Without Borders a year early, just to come home and marry Claire Northwood. But when I got back, she was already a mother. She told her housekeeper, have Leo Vance stay overseas a little longer. It's better if he doesn't come back. If he finds out I have a son, he'll lose it. It was only in that moment that I understood. She had lied to me. 3 years ago, she told me, go be a doctor with Doctors Without Borders for 3 years. It'll temper you, help you mature. Once you're more stable, come back, and we'll get married. And she was right. I had become stable. I wasn't the emotionally volatile kid I used to be. My taste had changed, too. Someone like her? I was no longer interested. I walked into the house, carrying a gift I'd carefully chosen for Claire, but the place was empty except for a cascade of fresh flowers on the dining table. Cheers and laughter drifted in from the garden. I walked toward the sound, one step at a time. Claire, you're so lucky. Your son is adorable, and your husband is so handsome. A woman's voice cut through the air. A tremor went through me. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I took a few more steps forward and saw her. Claire. She was holding a baby, and a tall man had his arm wrapped around her shoulders. I really am, she said, her voice full of tenderness as she looked up at the man. But I couldn't have done it without Julian. The man smiled, his eyes crinkling with happiness. A perfect family of 3. It was an enviable sight. I stood frozen in place, a rat in the shadows, spying on their life. Behind them, a banner was stretched across the wall. Congratulations on Asher's welcome home party, Asher. I once held Claire and whispered to her, Claire, if we have a son someday, can we name him Asher? She'd asked me why. I had grinned. Asher means blessed. I want our child to have a blessed life every single year. And now, her child with another man had that name, and his last name was Cross. Hey, Claire, one of her friends asked, isn't Leo Vance due back soon? Aren't you worried he's going to flip out when he sees your mom? Claire gently stroked the baby's cheek. I'd almost forgotten about him until you mentioned it. She immediately pulled out her phone and made a call. Have Leo Vance stay overseas a little longer, she said to the person on the other end. It's better if he doesn't come back. If he finds out I have a son, he'll go crazy. My breath caught in my throat. I stumbled back a step. Joining Doctors Without Borders had been Claire's idea 3 years ago. She thought my personality was too explosive, that I was too quick to anger, that I went insane any time I saw her with another man. It's not that I don't like you, she told me then. I just think you're too unstable to be my husband. So, here's the deal, she'd said. Go do 3 years with Doctors Without Borders. It'll temper you. When you come back, you'll be ready to be my husband. I believed her. I studied relentlessly, did everything I could to get accepted. The day my application went through, I was ecstatic. I thought I just have to get through these 3 years, and then I can marry Claire. But now I was back, and she was a mother. When I came to my senses, tears were streaming down my face. The more I wiped them away, the more they fell. I really don't want him to come back, Claire said casually, her free hand intertwining with the man's beside her. From now on, I just want a life with Julian, to have and to hold, till death do us part. That's so romantic. It makes me want to have a baby, someone exclaimed. So, Claire, have you thought about how you're going to explain this to Leo? At the mention of my name, her expression turned to ice. I never planned on him coming back. She looked up at the man beside her, her voice softening. The housekeeper will handle everything. Don't worry. The only one by my side will be you. Snow began to drift down from the sky, landing on the tip of my nose and chilling me to the bone. The day I left, 3 years ago, I had held her hand and asked, Claire, when I get back, will you really marry me? She squeezed my hand, her voice as gentle as water. Of course. By then, you'll have become so mature. Don't worry, she'd promised. I'll wait for you. The only one by my side will be you. But now I was mature, and she was with another man. Why? Why'd you have to lie to me? A dull ache spread through my chest. Tears fell, betraying me. In Africa and Afghanistan, working on the wounded under a hail of gunfire, a single thought kept me going. I have to stay alive. I have to stay alive to marry my Claire. I applied for an early return, a full year ahead of schedule. I'd planned to surprise her today. Instead, she surprised me. I heard Claire bought a yacht. She and Julian Cross are going to have their wedding on it. A couple of guests walked past, and I quickly hid behind a tree. Oh my God, I'm so jealous. But what about Leo Vance? Wasn't he head over heels for her? You haven't heard? 3 years ago, she tricked him into going overseas to work for Doctors Without Borders. Who knows if he's even still alive? She just wanted to be with Julian Cross, but was afraid Leo would lose his mind. So that's what she did. The second he was out of the country, she got together with Julian. Their words reached my ears with perfect clarity. So, Claire had this plan from the very beginning, and I had stupidly believed her. The conditions overseas were brutal, but I never felt the hardship because I thought if I just endured, I could come home and marry her. The guests moved on, go to offer Claire their congratulations. Someone else joked, "Claire, Leo's been in love with you for so many years. Are you really okay with letting him suffer in those conditions overseas?" Claire didn't even look up, her gaze fixed on her son. "He loves me. That doesn't mean I love him. If my dad wasn't so fond of him, since he basically raised him, I would have cut ties with him years ago. And you all know, he's 7 years younger than me. There's no way I could be into him. He's the one who's been chasing me all these years." I was 16, a sophomore in high school. Claire was already 23, a college graduate. She came from a wealthy family. She was beautiful, and she was always surrounded by guys. She never lacked for admirers. And every time I would get jealous, I'd find her and say, "Claire, can you please not be so close with other guys?" Back then, Claire would just laugh and ruffle my hair. "Whatever you say, Leo." The teenage Leo Vance thought that was love. So I did everything I could to get closer to her, to learn her hobbies, to mold myself into the person she would want. On my 21st birthday, I put on a tailored suit for the first time, styled my hair perfectly, and even wore the cologne she liked. At the party, some heirs started talking to me, just a few words. Claire dragged me into the hallway, stood on her toes, and kissed me. Her eyes, clear and bright under her bangs, stared into mine. "You're mine," she said. From the very beginning, she was the one who gave me hope. In every way, she acted like she was deeply in love with me. But now, she was telling everyone I was the one chasing her. Disappointed, I walked away. By the time I reached the front gate, I couldn't hold it in any longer. I broke down, sobbing. My hand trembled as I took out my phone and opened iMessage. The last message was from her. "Happy birthday, Leo." At the time, I was in the middle of saving a pregnant woman, covered in blood, having been awake for over 24 hours. But seeing her message filled me with a new surge of energy. I wiped my tears and hit the call button. "Leo, what's up?" On the other end, Claire's voice was as gentle as ever. She must have found a quiet place to take the call, because it rang for a long time before she picked up. I wanted to speak, but the image of her holding a baby, standing next to another man, filled my mind. "Leo?" she said again. She had always called me Leo. I used to love it. Now, the sound of it made me sick. "Claire, I'm home." If you listened closely, you could hear the slight tremor in my voice. But Claire didn't notice anything was wrong. She paused for 2 seconds, then said, "What? You're back. Where are you? I'll come pick you up." The truth is, my world had already shattered when I saw that scene in the garden. But now, she was acting so gentle, so caring. "I'm at the front door," I said softly. This was the condo Claire had bought for me on my 18th birthday. She told me then, "No matter who you end up with, Leo, this place will always be yours. Anyone connected to me, to the Northwood family, has to have a solid foundation." But now, she was living here with another man, and they had a child together. When Claire came out, I had already composed myself. She walked towards me, step by step through the snow, her eyes filled with a look of deep concern. When she reached me, she threw herself into my arms, her warm breath ghosting across my ear. "Leo, it's been 3 years. You've gotten thinner." A peachy fragrance filled my senses. Her scent had changed. It used to be a light, clean scent of tea. I was repulsed by her touch. I shoved her away. Her pupils contracted for a second, and then she smiled. "Looks like our Leo is all grown up. He knows about personal space now. But I'm your future wife. Don't be so distant, okay?" She used to be a beacon of light in my life. I say that because when I first came to live with the Northwoods, I was painfully shy. I was bullied constantly at school. One time, they cornered me in an alley after school and started beating me up. It was Claire who appeared out of nowhere. She pulled up in a Maybach, trapping them against the wall. She got out of the car and pulled me behind her. I'll never forget the coldness in her voice as she told those guys, "Leo Vance is my person. If any of you ever dare to touch him again, I won't let you off easy." But now this woman felt like a complete stranger. She had the exact same face, but I no longer felt the heart-pounding connection I once did. Claire reached out to touch my face. I saw the ring on her 4th finger. That finger used to be bare. "I'm tired. Can I just go inside and rest?" I pulled my gaze away from the ring and focused on her face. Panic flickered in her eyes. Of course, but we have guests today. A friend of mine just had a baby and didn't have a place for the welcome party, so she's using our house. You don't mind, do you? I used to think of her as some kind of goddess. She always showed up, right when I was being bullied. She was always calm and collected whenever I was sick or hurt. One winter, we went out to buy fireworks, and we saw a couple arguing. The girl had cheated on the guy. Claire had turned to me and said, "Leo, when you look for a girlfriend someday, you need to be smart about it. Find someone modeled after me." "I would never lie to anyone," she'd said. But now her mouth was full of lies. Maybe it's because I really have matured, but I felt no desire to expose her. I wanted to see how long she could keep up the deception. I don't mind. Hearing this, Claire smiled. She tried to take my hand, but I dodged her touch. A flicker of surprise crossed her face, and then she laughed it off, as if reassuring herself. You've gotten so distant with me. It's okay, she added. I'll be here with you. I'll help you go back to the way you were. But I knew in my heart that I could never go back. 3 years ago, she had tricked me into going overseas. I had seen too much death. I had witnessed a child who was smiling at me 1 second become a cold corpse the next. In that moment, I realized I had to learn to cherish time. Because you never know whether tomorrow will come, or if an accident will come first. And now, I had no intention of wasting my time on someone who wasn't worth it. Claire didn't take me to the master bedroom, where I used to sleep. She led me to a guest room. My friend is very conscious of appearances, she explained. She's telling everyone this is her house, so she's temporarily staying in the master. After all this is over in a few days, I'll have the housekeeper deep clean the room, and you can move back in, okay? Okay. I set down my bag. She looked at me for a few seconds. I'm guessing you're not a fan of crowded scenes. You should rest here. I have to get back to the party. After Claire left, I took a small, smooth stone from my pocket. Carved into it were the words, peace and joy. It was a gift from a little girl during my time in Africa. Her parents had been killed, leaving her all alone. She had placed the stone in my hand with her small, dark fingers and said to me in English, for you, big brother, you can give this to the one you love, so she can be safe and sound. I accepted it and was about to get her some candy. But in the next second, a bullet hit her in the head, and she collapsed in front of me. I screamed hysterically, trying to save her, but my colleagues pulled me away. Snapping back to the present, I opened the guest room door and took a proper look around the condo. I had been too overwhelmed with emotion earlier to notice. There were traces of another man everywhere. A man's towel and skincare products in the bathroom. Fresh flowers on the coffee table. A baby bottle, children's toys. After taking it all in, I walked towards the master bedroom. I used to live in this room. Claire had decorated it entirely to my taste. My hand was just about to touch the doorknob when a man's voice stopped me. You're Leo Vance? I turned around. The man Claire had called Julian was standing behind me. He was tall, dressed in casual clothes, and looked a bit tired, but his eyes were striking. Almond-shaped, large and bright, they looked incredibly soulful. I am. During my time as a doctor, many people had asked if I was Leo Vance. I always answered with a firm I am. It had probably become a professional habit. He sized me up, then let out a short, derisive laugh. Claire hasn't told you yet, has she? I'm her fiancée. We have a son together. A dull ache throbbed in my chest, but I was able to hide my emotions now. I know, you know? Then what the hell are you doing back here? His soulful eyes glared at me. This isn't your home anymore. You're just an outsider. He lunged at me, trying to throw a punch, but I caught his fist and threw his arm aside. For some reason, I couldn't bring myself to hate him. I didn't think he had done anything wrong. He was just afraid I would take away the person he loved. Don't worry, I said. Even though Claire and I had an engagement, she has a child with someone else now. I won't bother her anymore. The moment I said that, he shoved me hard, then dropped to the floor himself. I'm sorry. It's my fault. I shouldn't have taken your Claire from you. Leo, what are you doing? Claire's voice came from behind me. I felt a hard slam against my body, and then a stinging slap across my face. My vision swam. Claire's face blurred in and out of focus, but her voice echoed clearly in my ear. So what if Julian is my fiancé? So what if we have a son? He's gentle and generous, not like you. You can't control your emotions and have to resort to bullying people. Leo Vance, you are truly disgusting. I'll give you 3 seconds. Apologize to Julian. Now, my vision cleared. I saw Claire clutching Julian, shielding him from me. Her eyes were ice cold, filled with disgust for me. Downstairs, people were staring up at us, whispering amongst themselves. Holy crap, Leo Vance is actually back. He's changed so much. His hair is longer, and he's so thin. I feel like his entire vibe has changed. He's not that punk kid anymore. Once in a conflict zone, I was shot in the leg. We were out of antibiotics, and my life was in serious danger. But I had read books on herbal remedies before, and relying on memory, I found the right herbs and healed myself. At that time, I thought if Claire hears about this, she'll think I'm so brave. But now, she wasn't the Claire I used to love. During every break I got, I would pull a photo of Claire from my bag and look at it. My colleagues would tease me. Vance, you're always so calm and composed. The girl you love must be pretty amazing. She was. I loved Claire's excellence. I loved her confidence with clients, her composure in the face of problems. I could learn from her. She could guide me forward. But now, in this moment, I truly realized it. I didn't love Claire anymore. I didn't push him. I told her. He fell on his own. You think I believe you? I saw it with my own eyes. Claire shouted, furious. I know you're lashing out because you found out about me and the baby, right? Leo, do you know why I don't love you? Because I hate how pathetic and disgusting you are. I suddenly started laughing. Claire, do you have any idea how many children, how many people in those disaster-stricken countries need doctors like us to save them? I truly regret coming back for you. My time should be spent on more important things. With that, I turned and walked away. This time, I didn't shed a single tear for her. The boy who used to follow her around, crying, had finally grown up. In a way, I should thank her. If she hadn't lied to me, I wouldn't be who I am today. Just then my phone rang. It was Mr. Northwood, Claire's father. Leo, my boy, are you coming home soon? As soon as you're back, you can finally be my son-in-law. My heart skipped a beat. If Mr. Northwood was saying this, it meant he had no idea that Claire was with someone else. Ahem, cough. He coughed twice on the other end. This old body of mine isn't what it used to be. The only thing I'm waiting for now is to see you two get married. His words made me swallow the truth I was about to tell him. How many years does a person get in a lifetime? I didn't want to make him unhappy, but if I didn't tell him, he would find out sooner or later. So, I decided to tell him in person that we were breaking off the engagement. Mr. Northwood, I said, I'm already back. I'll come see you tomorrow. After checking into a hotel, I sat by the floor-to-ceiling window with a cup of hot milk. This was Chicago. Claire used to love bringing me to this hotel. She said you could see the entire city skyline from here. I had given her a gold locket here once. I told her, Claire, I've had this locket since I was a kid. The director at the orphanage said my parents left it for me, for protection. Now I'm giving it to you. I hope you'll always be safe. Thinking of that, I called Claire and asked for the locket back. She sounded annoyed. Julian is in the hospital with a fever. Because of you, I'm not in the mood to talk about anything else. You get over here and apologize to him right now. I went, not to apologize to Julian Cross, but to see what was really going on. I bought some gifts on the way. When I pushed open the hospital room door, Claire was feeding him soup. They looked so intimate, so in love. The scene still stung a little, but the pain wasn't as sharp as before. I walked in. Claire glanced up at me, apologized to Julian, and we'll call it even. You can even move back into the house after this. The woman who once promised to marry me was now telling me to formally address another man as Julian. It was laughable. Claire, could you step out for a minute? I want to talk to Julian alone. She looked reluctant. Don't worry, I added. I'm not going to do anything to him. After Claire left, I looked at the man in the hospital bed. Let me take a look at you, see what's going on. He seemed wary of me, but I said, I'm a doctor. I'm not going to hurt you. On the way over, a friend had called me with some intel. He told me the man's name was Julian Cross and that he had started as Claire's assistant. They had been close for a long time, and it wasn't until Claire had his son this year that they decided to get married. It's nothing serious, just a common cold, I told Julian after a moment. I remember you were wearing a long-sleeve t-shirt last time. It's snowing in Chicago now. You should dress warmer. I placed the gifts I'd bought on his bedside table. Taking care of Claire and the baby must be exhausting. I picked these out for you. They're good for your health. As I spoke, his pupils seemed to shrink bit by bit. Finally, he cursed at me. Leo, are you insane? I'm your rival. I don't love Claire anymore. I came here today to tell you that you don't have to worry about me. I'm not going to fight you for her. I'm breaking off the engagement with her soon. Then you two can be together without any complications. What did you say? Claire had come back into the room, her voice filled with disbelief. I turned to face her, smiling faintly. I've moved on. I just wanted to tell you that I'm ending our engagement. That way, you and he could be together properly. Claire was stunned. It took her a long moment to say, I'm glad you feel that way. I thought she would be overjoyed to hear I was breaking things off. But she didn't seem as happy as I expected. As I was about to leave, she stood up and offered to walk me out. Downstairs from the hospital, there was a 24-hour convenience store. I remembered how she and I used to go to places like this in the winter to buy hot soup. Want some soup? Claire asked suddenly. I looked into her eyes and slowly nodded. She immediately went and bought me a cup. We sat together by the glass door, watching the heavy snow fall outside. Steam rose from the soup. I blew on it gently and heard her whisper beside me. Did that slap hurt a lot? I turned to look at her and saw that her eyes were a little red. I laughed. Not at all. The pain I've been through overseas is much worse than that. Leo, you've really grown up. Isn't that better? Now you and Mr. Northwood won't have to worry about me. By the way, Claire, I said, let's go break off the engagement tomorrow. After that, I'm going back to Doctors Without Borders. You're leaving again? She looked at me, shocked. I remembered what she'd said in the garden earlier. and her surprise now felt hollow, disingenuous. Yes, those 3 years abroad made me happy. I like that kind of life. She lowered her gaze. I'm sorry, Leo. I lied to you. I was just afraid you would cause a scene, so I... Claire, it's all in the past. I hope you and Julian have a good life together. Will you come to our wedding? No. After we finished the soup, I got ready to leave. Claire suddenly asked me, You stopped loving me that quickly? I found her question bizarre, but I answered her anyway. Claire, you once said you liked mature men. I became mature, but in the process, my taste changed. You're not my type anymore. Maybe it was my imagination, but I saw a flash of pain in her eyes. I turned and left without another word. The next day, Claire and I arranged to go to the Northwood family estate to officially break the engagement. I hadn't been back in 3 years. I remembered living here, how Claire would take me to the golf course on weekends. Sometimes we'd have a barbecue. Those were genuinely happy times. Claire arrived with Julian Cross and their son, Asher. I saw the gold locket I had given her now hanging around Asher's neck. Mr. Northwood looked from Claire to Julian, confused. You too. I quickly cut in. Mr. Northwood, I came today to tell you that Claire and I are breaking our engagement. She loves someone else now, and they have a child. Mr. Northwood flew into a rage, grabbing his cane to strike Claire. You wretched girl. How dare you betray Leo? I stopped him, taking hold of the cane. Mr. Northwood, Claire and I have already talked it through. She has someone she loves and a child now, and I don't love her anymore, so we're ending the engagement. Claire was silent the whole time, her eyes fixed on me. Finally, Mr. Northwood sighed. Leo, I'm sorry you've been wronged. Claire will regret this one day, letting a good man like you go. Claire immediately retorted, I won't regret it. After sorting things out with Mr. Northwood, I went to my old room to pack my things. When I finished, I ran into Julian. He was wearing a thick down jacket and fleece-lined pants. The hostility in his eyes was gone. He walked over to me and held out his hand. In his palm was the gold locket. I heard you ask Claire for the locket back. She didn't want to give it to you, so I swiped it. I was surprised. He smiled. Leo Vance, you're a really good man. You won me over. To be honest, I wasn't with Claire because I loved her. I just wanted her money. I want to get out of here, see the world. You made that possible for me, so I'm repaying the favor. I took the locket from him. You're a good man, too. I put the locket in my bag, said goodbye to Mr. Northwood, and prepared to leave. But I found Claire in the garden. She was watering some plants, but they were all withered and dead. She saw me and stopped. Remember this place? You used to tell me you wanted it to be filled with roses. Leo, if you're not in a hurry, you could come to my wedding with Julian. Her words felt strange, disconnected. I checked the time on my phone. I've already booked my flight. I'm not coming back. I paused for a moment, then added, and I don't like roses anymore. I used to like roses because of her. I found out she loved them, so I changed my own preferences. To say I didn't hate Claire would be a lie. I waited for her for 3 years, only to come back and find her with someone else. I hated her because she made me a promise and then broke it. So, before I left, I couldn't bring myself to say the words, I wish you happiness. I rejoined Doctors Without Borders. The application process took 3 months. This time, I was being sent to a small town in Africa to provide medical support. As I was about to depart, I ran into a familiar face. It was Dr. Maya Reed, a classmate from my university days. She was wearing a black tactical jacket and a black baseball cap. She walked right up to me. Long time no see, Leo Vance. I remembered meeting her for the first time at a cat cafe off campus. She was holding a kitten, her eyes red from crying. I asked her what was wrong, but she wouldn't say. I assumed she had lost her own cat, so I bought one for her. Maya, what are you doing here? I asked, surprised. She smiled brightly, revealing a set of perfectly white teeth. It wasn't easy, but I finally got accepted into Doctors Without Borders. From now on, we're colleagues. The journey to the field site in Africa was rough. The vehicle bounced and jolted along the poor roads. Maya handed me a mint. This will help with the motion sickness. I took it. The cool flavor spread through my mouth. She asked me how I'd been lately. I told her everything. I felt there was nothing to hide, including the whole situation with Claire. It was a part of my life experience, not some shameful secret. Besides, after 3 years as a field doctor, I had learned to speak my mind. I was afraid that if I didn't say it now, I might never get another chance. After she heard the story, she gently patted my back. I'll be here with you from now on. I didn't know what she meant by that. It wasn't until we arrived that a colleague told me she had spent 4 years trying to get a position that would allow her to work alongside me. She kept applying, kept pushing, just to get closer. Hearing this, I finally understood Maya's feelings. I was stunned. She had spent 4 years for me. Why would she like me? Claire couldn't stand me. Why would Maya like me? I didn't ask her. I chose to pretend I didn't know anything. That night, I couldn't sleep. I stepped out of my tent to look at the stars. To my surprise, Maya was sitting outside too. When she saw me, she offered me a mint. I told her I didn't eat candy at night. She smiled. Noted. I paused for a second, then sat down next to her. She said, Leo, look at the stars. Don't they look like us right now? We both know exactly where the other is, but we just can't get any closer. I understood what she meant, but I didn't know how to respond. So I changed the subject. The stars are beautiful tonight. Let's take a picture. I took out my phone and we took a photo together. The first thing she did was ask me to send it to her. After I did, I went back to my tent. I thought about it for a moment, then posted on my Instagram. She wasn't just my colleague. She was my old classmate. Working here, our lives were always on the line. I wanted to document this moment because there was no guarantee we would have time later. The next morning, I got a call from Claire. Who was that woman in your Instagram photo? She demanded. I found it laughable. Why did she have to ask me that? The day I left, I had already severed all ties with her in my heart. Claire, that has nothing to do with you. You. She sounded stunned. Claire, even though we parted on peaceful terms, I still hate you. I said. I hate that you broke your promise. I hate that you lied to me. Please don't contact me again. I hung up and blocked her number. In the days that followed, I was incredibly busy. Maya and I were treating a constant stream of new patients every day. Shelling was a constant threat, but she always seemed to sense it coming, pulling me to cover just in time. One day, I had just finished bandaging an infant's wounds. A short while later, Maya brought the same baby back in. His home had been hit by an artillery strike. A vibrant young life, gone just like that. I couldn't help but let a few tears fall. Maya wrapped her arms around me tightly. She kept whispering in my ear, "Don't cry. I'm here. I will always be with you." I suddenly pushed her away. "Do you love me?" I asked. She froze. "Yes." "Then let's be together." In this war-torn country, I was afraid her feelings would go unspoken forever. I didn't want her to have any regrets, and I didn't want any for myself, either. After all, I had never truly been in a relationship. Hearing my words, she became so emotional that she pulled me into another hug. Almost immediately, word came of more wounded outside. We wiped away our tears and separated to treat different patients. Immersed in the chaotic work, I forgot about Claire. I forgot about everything. My only thought was to save one more person, and then one more. One evening, we finally got a moment of respite. Our colleagues gathered a bouquet of wildflowers for Maya and me. They wanted to hold a wedding ceremony for us. "We're heading to a more dangerous area soon," they said. "We don't want either of you to have any regrets." And so, with countless patients and colleagues as our witnesses, Maya and I had a simple wedding. She stood on her toes and kissed me. "Leo," she said, "I will love you forever." Our colleagues took a picture of us. I posted it on my Instagram, and I gave the gold locket to Maya, hoping it would keep her safe. Just then, I got a call from a friend back home. "You're not going to believe this," he said. On the day Claire and Julian were supposed to get married, neither of them showed up. Julian stole a bunch of her money and skipped town, and Claire just left the country. It's hilarious. I've never seen such a bizarre wedding. I just listened. Then I turned to Maya and said, "Cherish the time we have. Cherish the people around us." Maya and I threw ourselves back into our work. After our wedding, I rarely saw her. She was working on one side of the camp, and I was on the opposite. One day, after finishing a long shift, I was drenched in sweat. As I reached for some water, I saw someone I never expected to see. Claire. She was here. I had no idea how she'd found me. The moment I saw her, I told her to get lost. I didn't want to see her. I didn't want her disrupting my life. She held out her hand. "You stole my gold locket. Give it back." I laughed. It was mine to begin with. I have every right to take it back. I turned to leave, but she grabbed my arm. "Leo Vance, you don't take back something you've given someone. Give it back to me. Now, the locket doesn't belong to you anymore." Just as I said that, more wounded were brought in. I rushed to help. Claire just stood there watching. In the chaos, I yelled at her, "Go get me the hemostatic agents. Hurry." When things finally calmed down, I took Claire to a relatively safe area. Some things needed to be said, clearly. She looked at me, and her eyes held a strange hint of admiration. "Leo, you've really grown up. You don't need to rely on me anymore. Watching you save those patients just now, you were incredible. It seems sending you to Doctors Without Borders was the right decision after all. Claire, do you really think you get the credit for this?" I stared at her. I grew up because I persevered on my own. 3 years ago, I was a fresh graduate, a naive kid who knew nothing. When I first started, I couldn't adapt. Every day, I watched hundreds, thousands of people die in front of me. I had to control my own mental state to save others. I broke down and cried every single night, but I told myself to endure. Just 3 years, and then I could go home. But when I got home, I found you with someone else. And you even ordered your housekeeper to keep me from coming back. Hearing my words, she stood there, utterly frozen. A look of shock filled her eyes. I was wrong. Before, I thought you were so much younger than me, that we weren't right for each other. So I forced myself to be with someone else. But after I was with him, I realized the person I love is you. I can't stop myself from loving you. Leo, come back with me. Don't stay here. It's too dangerous. I sneered. A little late to be worried about the danger, isn't it? Where was this concern before? Claire, the biggest regret of my life was falling in love with you. But thankfully, I don't love you anymore. I have a better woman by my side. We're already married. What did you say? Her face was a mask of shock. How could you possibly have time for romance here? You must be lying to me. She is my partner in this fight, and she is the woman I love deeply. She guides me forward and gives me a sense of peace in this war-torn place. Claire, go home. I truly don't love you anymore. Her eyes instantly turned red. She shook her head frantically. No, impossible. Impossible. I walked away without looking back. Every minute, every second here was precious. I wasn't going to waste any more of it on her. The next day, Maya and I met up. We were being transferred to a new location. There was a smudge of dirt on her face, and I smiled as I wiped it clean. You look like a little stray cat. Just as I said it, Claire emerged from a nearby tent, her face etched with pain. Leo, didn't you used to love me? Maya recognized her. She immediately pulled me behind her. Ms. Northwood, Leo is my husband. You're not worthy of him. Claire spat. Leo is mine. He's loved me since he was a teenager. We were supposed to get married. And did you marry him? Maya's question silenced her. Maya pressed on. The truth is, you're the one who isn't worthy of Leo. You couldn't even be honest with your own heart. That makes you a coward. Now, Leo doesn't belong to you anymore. I looked at Claire and smiled. Claire, go home. We're completely over. No, that's not right. We never even started, so there's nothing to be over. Let's just say, you can stop pursuing me. I don't love you. The only person I love is Maya Reed. I loved Claire for 10 years. If I hadn't become a doctor without borders, I probably would have spent my whole life obsessed with her. I am grateful that I endured, and I'm grateful that she lied to me. 3 years later, Maya and I left the organization. In those 3 years, we saved countless lives. We were both injured many times. Once, a shell exploded near her. She almost died. In that moment, I swore an oath. 3 more years. If we were both still alive after 3 years, we would quit. Life was too long, and we deserved to have one of our own. We settled in a city that was warm year-round and officially registered our marriage. From time to time, I scroll through my Instagram. There's the first picture we ever took together, and the photos from our wedding in Africa. I will forever cherish those beautiful memories. Claire Northwood's epilogue. On my way out of Africa, I met a little girl. She was playing with a small, smooth stone on which was carved, peace and joy. I was shocked because I had secretly seen that same stone in Leo Vance's luggage. The day I slapped him, he had come to the hospital, so I had someone go to his hotel room. That's when they found the stone. I asked the little girl where she got it. She said, a big brother gave it to me. He said he wished me peace and joy. Did he say where the stone came from? He did. He said another little girl gave it to him. He was going to give it to the person he loved, but he said that person's heart had changed. Her words struck me like a knife to the chest. So, all that time, Leo had been thinking about being with me. And what was I doing? I remembered. I was with Julian Cross. I had his child. I told him I loved him, that I was willing to have his children. Julian left me a letter on the day he disappeared. He only wrote one sentence. Claire, you fool. You lost a truly, truly good man. And I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about Leo Vance. He loved you so much. He was so good, and you betrayed him. Thinking of this, I broke down and sobbed. Suddenly, a shell landed nearby. I lost both my legs. When I woke up, I was back in the States. My father looked at me with cold eyes. You were the one who didn't want Leo. Now you go chasing after him. See? Even God is punishing you. I looked down at my own empty pant legs in despair. Arg. I couldn't accept it. I couldn't accept any of it. Leo used to love me so much. He was always following me around like a puppy. Claire, I want some soup. Claire, I love you. The truth is, I regretted it the moment he came home. When I saw him, I couldn't control my own heart. All I could do was pretend not to love him. When I heard he wanted to break our engagement, I was devastated, but I couldn't let it show. When he left, I wanted so badly to ask him to stay, but I didn't. I thought he used to hate it when I even spoke to another man. Surely, if I marry Julian, he'll come back and cause a scene. But on the day of my wedding to Julian, he didn't come. After thinking for a long time, I had no choice but to go find him. I saw him saving people, and he was so capable, so amazing. I saw the woman he loved. In that moment, I finally understood what he meant when he said his taste had changed. It wasn't that his taste had changed. It was that I was no longer worthy of him.